This is a typology that we use in the Higher Education Academy, just to clarify for ourselves what we're trying to do in the context of the employer engagement agenda. So on the left-hand side and in the top left-hand corner, you see the individual who is seeking to improve their performance to secure new work, and that might incorporate people who are not yet in the workplace. On the bottom left-hand side, you see the importance of encouraging employers to participate in that development of young and indeed older people wanting to move into or to change their work patterns. We need to have them engaged in the very development of people before they enter the workplace. On the right-hand side, we see more the development of people in the workplace seeking to improve their personal and professional performance, either to move up the career ladder within their existing organisation or to move from one organisation to another. And in the bottom right-hand corner, you see the engagement of employers in the development of their own workforce, which is actually often easier to achieve than in the engagement of a future workforce. But these directions do mean a change in the kind of education that we've been familiar with. Certainly in higher education, I think this is where further education may have more experience. But we're concerned with employers and learners identifying their own needs rather than providers identifying them for them in a kind of patriarchal fashion. We're looking at the development of applied knowledge and skills rather than generic knowledge and skills. We're looking at the transfer of existing knowledge between universities and colleges and the workplace, and that is in both directions, not just a transfer from universities and colleges to the workplace, but us learning from the workplace about their needs and about their issues and about their problems and focusing on those things. Moving from work-relevant towards work-focused activity. And I think in some of the examples that we've seen this morning, we've seen the importance of bringing education to life. Those experiments that Chris and his colleague were showing us, that wonderful demonstration of forensic science that we've just had, are demonstrations of how you can engage learners in their own development by using the experience of the workplace, even if it's simulated, as the last example was. We've had to make a move from fixed schedules of delivery to flexible schedules of delivery. Employers want what they want, when and how and where they can get it. They don't want to take it on our terms. They want it on their own terms. And that means moving learning from the college and the university into the workplace, whether it be by creating opportunities for experience for initial learners or by using the learning of people actually in the workplace. Support becomes more individually learner-centred rather than programme-centred. Learning support is provided as much by the employer as it is by the provider. We used to put a lot of emphasis on recognition by a professional body. Sometimes employers are not too worried about that. I know that that's a dangerous thing to say in this room, but often they want something quick and sharp and focused, and they're not worried about recognition by a professional body. Assessment needs to be focused not only on knowledge, but on skills. Can people put into practice what they are doing? And we need the employer and the learner to contribute to that assessment so that they become engaged in lifelong learning, so they can reflect on their practice, so they know for themselves when they're getting things right, where they need to improve. The learning may be accredited or it may not be. Increasingly, universities and colleges are involved in learning that is not exclusively accredited and qualification-bearing. And instead of evaluating simply the quality of the learning experience, we need to look at what is the impact that it's having on learner development and indeed on organisational development, because when we are concerned with people who are already in the workplace, we're concerned with how that influences the direction of the whole company.